Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of Plant Amateur. I have an experiment to do. Now, you might see all the moss poles here, and if you're kind of a fan, you may have seen me try to take apart moss poles, and it's so frustrating. So I'm gonna do an experiment. I have a regular D-shaped moss pole and a piece of cocoa fiber sheet that they come in rolls. I don't know what else to call them. And I thought, how fabulous would that be if it actually worked? I just got this new Epipremnum Amplissimum. They gifted it to me as a silver streak, but in my research, I found a different name, silver stripe. So the plan is to put this guy on this moss pole, but not a moss pole, on this cocoa pole and into this pot. Let's do it. First thing we gotta do is find where it wants to live in this pot. So I'm just gonna place the moss pole, the pole, I'm just gonna call it a pole because it's not a moss pole today. I'm gonna place it on the bottom of the pot and then I'm gonna mark it. And that will be not where the soil line is. I'm glad I'm thinking this through now. So the soil line is gonna be somewhere about here. And that's where I want the bottom of this sheet to be. So I might have to make a little adjustment off the top. I'll maybe cut it off later. But next thing is I'm gonna take these cuttings. Oh, there's a stick in here too. That's kind of neat. I'm gonna take these cuttings, remove this moss. I hope they're established enough to put in this big of a pot. Oh, this is perfect. I got 3 vines. That's the perfect amount for a pole. A little bit more moss, and I'm just gonna take that stick. Is that rooting or is that a growth? That's growth, right? The roots haven't really started yet, but I'm gonna stick it in that moss and just let it continue on its merry way. So now that I have it sat into position, that's where I want my tape line to stop also. I don't want my tape also sitting in the soil. And it'll be on the back so nobody will see it. There. So then it's pretty near the surface. Now we have to get the plant to be stuck into position. These leaves are not doing me any favors. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please? No. Please leave it alone. I will play with you after I finish this. Now, I'm not too concerned about it staying exactly where I put it on the pole. The string is just to keep it on the pole while I'm moving it around and trying to fill the pot with dirt. Right now, they're staying pretty much where I want them to be. And that's the idea with this tie down method. This part is going to be a little bit different for me because usually there's a lot more space available to do this step. So we're just gonna do the best that we can. Hi, Valerie. What are you doing? I really hope this experiment works because this plant is really pretty. Just gonna tilt up because I think there's gonna be enough to keep everything in place. Oh no. Soil got behind the pole. Here we go, we gotta start over. You want to play? I'll play. The problem I'm seeing is that if I fill the bottom with soil, it has to be just the right thickness in order to work with the whole setup we got going on here. Valerie! You little butt! So instead of my original plan of filling up the moss pole, I'm going to leave it empty. And then I'm just gonna fill up the pot. This is not You see my dilemma here? I was about to just dump soil on everything. Okay. One more time or I'm going back to regular moss poles. I fixed it. As I'm tapping it in, it's filling up the moss pole. Yeah, you get out of the way. You can go up. You can go up. And you are already going up. You're the best cutting of them all. I am pretty well set. The soil level is where I would like it to be. It's really just this leaf that's in my way now. Chop it off. I am seeing some separation between the pole and the front of this. So I'm hoping that is not going to hinder my plan. I think that's pretty spot on. I will have to pull them into position and re-string them so they are closer to attaching themselves. But I think this is gonna be great. Let's water it in. I'm just gonna use what I got left in this container to do the top watering and get it just sat into position. Also, just taking this opportunity to watch the soil and see what it does. I do have a tendency to undersoil, and then as I'm watering, you can just watch it go. And you saw me, I tapped it in real well. I'm also trying to shoot soil back so it goes back into the moss pole. I'm really worried about having some air gaps in there, but it'll be okay. Plants are so forgiving. You can see here that when you top water, even with the amount of water that I did, it doesn't go all the way down. It doesn't feed the entire plant. The roots, as you know, are down here. They're in the middle. So I gotta get it from the bottom, and I'm gonna leave a little bit also in the bottom so it has time to soak through. And then once I feel that it has soaked through enough, I'll put it in another little drainage container so whatever excess is in there, it will have an opportunity to run off. But the plant isn't drinking this water. The plant uses the water in the soil over time. It's not drinking water right now. What's drinking water right now is the soil. The soil is picking up as much water as it can hold. As this is watering in, I'm just gonna tidy up and get ready for the rest of my day. Let's do a check-in in a few months to see how she has made the transition, to see if this pole is working. We'll give it a couple of months and see how it comes out. I'm hoping that this Epipremnum likes it enough that it doesn't die. But even if it does, I have one more cutting that I can make more plants with. So it's all right. I gotta clean up my mess now. We'll see you in a couple of months. Welcome back. Here is the Amplissimum Silver Stripe. We have still the 3 plants are in here. Let me get her closer. You can see the 3 plants still alive and maybe not thriving. This one, the one on your right, is absolutely taking off. I've had to pin it with a little pin, thumb pin. No, because that's the flat one. Push pin, maybe. I had to pin it into place with one of these guys because it's trying to dominate the pole, and I want to make sure that it has, the others have space to also grow up the pole. But what's super cool, and I hope the camera can pick it up, I'm just going to peek around the corner, is right here is a little aerial root that is growing and attaching itself onto the pole. You can maybe see on this middle one here, there is another aerial root that is more going into the ground, but it's reaching for the pole also. And this little one is just starting to make waves. He's definitely pushed himself up against the pole and making it happen. So I can say, or at least I can think, that this was a success because it's working, it's growing. I'm really actually in love with this plant. It's so pretty. Let me see if I can pull it I keep losing the pin. Look at those leaves. Like they're just so vibrant and stripy and beautiful and just like, oh my gosh, it's such a pretty plant. Let's look at the inside here. So I'm not seeing a lot of roots in the back. The pole itself is not pushed up against the back of the pot, so I can't see the inside, but there's little roots right here. And of course they are on this side. So that big, strong plant is definitely making its way. There are a lot of little, like you can see little root heads in there. So I'm pretty sure that this is a success. I think this is gonna be the new cool way that I'm gonna do moss poles from now on. No more moss. They're so messy. You can't separate the plant. I just don't like it. And I feel like this is already like I can put another pole right on the top here and just extend it. I might have to put like one of those stiff boards or maybe a bamboo stake in the back, but it's definitely working. I think we have a solution. Thank you so much for watching this video and following along on this Amplissimum Silver Stripes journey. It's been pretty fun. I'm Tara Gaines. You've been watching Plant Amateur, and we both hope you're enjoying yourself. Hi, this is just a really quick little addition because I forgot to include this when I filmed that last segment, but this is that little cutting. And it started to grow and I didn't know what it was because I didn't label it. Don't think that label, you saw that I didn't put that label in there. I just put that in there today because when I was doing the editing, I saw it and I was like, that's that plant. So this is the cutting. It is looking fabulous. It's growing really well, good and strong. Look at the roots on the bottom. I'm kind of excited about that part. So I have to figure out how to get this guy back into the main plant. I don't think it'll be that hard because there's so much room in that pot. I can't believe they didn't die of overwatering. Anyway, they're not going to die. It's going to be great. Remember, plants are forgiving. So thank you again. And I'm just going to bounce right out. Bye. Oh, you know what? I messed up. Ah! I want to put a little bit on the... Oh, man. I would love it if things went streamlined so I look cool for all my friends.